Hi Jenna and Francis, thanks for your work on that feature. So what I've done is I've gone in as a student and submitted an assignment, which is a Word document. So now I'm in as an assessor and this is what it's looking like. So if I click on here, I don't understand what's happening because there's nothing in there. It's just blank. Um, yeah, if you can let me know what I'm doing wrong, obviously if I click on that, it just opens a Word doc down there, which is similar to what we were doing. Um, which that's the Word doc I attached. Yeah, just wondering what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, if I click on that, which I understand is the Word doc should appear in there. There's nothing in there. So what's happened in the past is we've fixed things on the LMS, but then we haven't changed the versions, the paper versions as well. They get saved onto the drives and onto the VetNet. So really important that occurs. So once we've got them saved onto the drives and the VetNet, then it goes to Nick and she changes it onto the learning management system. So the next part is in the assessor guide. So with the assessor guide, what we basically need to do is we just need to update the assessor guide. So the next part is the assessor guide. So these need to be updated. So this needs to be a job for Kate. So again, now my understanding is Ange wants to look at the front of some of these books. Because this isn't going out to students, I'm not sure that too much has to be changed. It's not like we have to cut back on pages and pages because normally the teacher's just reading it off the LMS. But anyway, the key job is just to look at each of the tasks because obviously the tasks have changed. So the assessor guide needs to be updated. But say written one, assessment task one, written questions. The questions now have gone from 15 to 26. So what needs to happen is if the current question answers are okay, that's fine. Keep them in there for the questions that are there, but then copy and paste the new questions into the assessor guide, and then someone needs to then put answers in. So again, some of these questions are on leadership, so you might be able to answer them, Kate, but in some cases you might have to ask one of the trainers and assessors to help you. So with the assessor guide, putting in the new assessment tasks, put in some assessor advice, and the easiest way to do that is wait for me to have the videos done, then you can look at the videos and put some notes in based on that. So that's the assessor guide. So that needs to be a job for Kate, or for Kate to work with some of the trainers and assessors to assist her with that. And again, that needs to then go onto the VetNet and onto the VetNet and onto the V Drive. So Nicola Weber, I think it's going to be easiest if you set up the assessor guide. So basically you have the assessment task in the assessor guide open, and you make sure that the questions in the assessor guide align with the new assessment tasks. So that if there's some questions in the assessor guide that are the same, you keep them and you keep their answers, but then new questions are actually added to the assessor guide. I can talk to you more about this, but I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. So basically the assessor guide now has all the new assessment tasks in it. So then we can just give it to Kate so that she can concentrate on making sure all the answers are put in, or she gets another staff member to do it. And then what I've done is I've put together some templates that are associated with this task, so with this cluster. So these templates are going to be what the students often populate and are going to be attached to the learning management system. So they would be, I'm not sure where you want to keep them now, but traditionally they would have been kept in maybe the support resources folder on the V drive. So if we have a look, this is basically what I mean by a template. They look like this, and the students just need to fill them in. So this is an activity plan where they've got some summaries of things here, then they've got to put their session outline in, and then they need to collect some feedback at the end. So the students will have to download these off the LMS and then upload them at the end. So these need to be all put into, even though I've called these templates, they need to go inside the template that Ange and Candice have put together for templates, and then saved again onto V Drive and VetNet. But if we look at the learning management system, this will give you an idea of how it's going to look. So this is just a fitness one. So for ACR, the task summary will be put in here. That'll be done by Nick. But with every task, there's going to be a video describing how the task has to occur. So this serves two purposes: to keep conformity amongst all the classes and make sure the teacher knows exactly what to do, and also give the student extra information so that they have a better idea of what the assessment requires, and they hassle the teacher less in regards to getting extra support. So the video basically goes through the assessment tasks. So I'll be putting these videos together. During this presentation, we'll look at plan and deliver exercise. But also every assessment task where there's a template. In the past, what we did wrong was we'd say to the teachers, okay, for these assessment tasks, here's the templates, and they're saved on the V drive or your L drive, which just becomes an extra resource that they can get wrong. So now it even explains in the video here that to do this task, you need to download and complete the table below. So they click on this, the template comes up, and this is a template they have to populate. So those templates I showed you before become attached to the learning management system. So as soon as they're completed and formatted by Candice and saved onto the drives, then we put them onto the learning management system. So the teachers can't get it wrong, and they can't use the wrong templates. So that's basically how it's going to work. We need the assessment tasks formatted. We need, and checked by Kate, we need the assessor guides done by Kate. And again, Kate, on the assessor guides, I don't want you to do any of the formatting or anything like that. And then we need to get the templates sorted out, which are these support templates. And then we need to get things onto the learning management system, which is going to be Nick and me making sure the right template's on here. And then we've got this video in place. The reason I'm placing so much emphasis on this, if we can get this right, it saves so many problems later during the year with teachers saying they weren't sure, they've used the wrong things, they didn't know exactly what they had to do for an assessment task. It just strengthens up our assessment process leading into next year, which I think will save lots of headaches next year. So I'm going to be quite precious about making sure we hit these deadlines and get these assessment tasks to where we need to get them. Because I fear if we don't, then we get busy next year and things just get pushed aside as it's close enough, so it'll have to be good enough. And then at the same time, I'll be Ange completing the mapping document, so we can then worry about things like PowerPoints later on. Obviously, placement books need to be correct. The placement books don't get handed out this year. They'll be handed out next year, so that's another project we need to work on, but I guess we've got a bit longer to get them right. So if I talk through a bit of a plan now, this is just suggested. It's got some things in here that I need considered, but I'm open to feedback from your team, Ange, because you're going to better be able to advise me if you think there's something that'll work better. But basically there's three key elements. There's the assessments, the templates, and the assessor guides. While eventually we need a project template that has all these three things ticked off, these are the two that are going to have to be done first. So I need that and that to be completed in the format using all the templates, etc. I need that completed first before we worry too about the assessor guide. That can be still getting worked on. The reason being is assessor guides are going to take the longest to get done. If I'm waiting for this, and this to be done before I give it the tick to go to Nicola to get onto the LMS, it's going to cause a problem with nothing getting on the LMS. So we need to get this part happening. So we need to get that and that done. Kate, obviously you're going to have to check these questions here to make sure you're comfortable with the way they're written. We get them to Nick, and then in the meantime you're working on the assessor guides, which might take a bit longer, but eventually we get them ticked as well, and they go onto the VetNet and the vDrive. So yeah, open to feedback on or questions about how you guys see this all working.